Welcome to an overview of what Google offers. A lot of people think it's just Gmail, but there's a lot of other great, sweet features that Google has to offer. So you'll notice once you go to Google and you sign in, you'll see that your apps are located up here. It kind of looks like a checkerboard. So if I click on the apps right now, yours will be different because I've had mine for a long time and it's customized based on what I use most frequently, and you can even click and drag those to get those to this main screen here. Now, the built-in features are Google Search, which is the same as like if you go Google something. Google Plus, which there's another video that will tell you more about Google Plus. It's the communities. It's a way to post messages and to get information from other teachers and educators. Sites will allow you to build your own Google website. Very easy, very basic way to build a website. Here's your Gmail. There's your Google Calendar. Now, Google Calendar is fabulous. It's really awesome how many calendars you can have overlay one calendar. Now, a lot of school districts maybe will have Outlook or some other web service that they use for email, and their calendar is attached to their email. Google Calendar will allow you to create a calendar and share it with specific groups of people. You can also, what's really cool is to put your Google Calendar on your Google website, and every time you update your calendar, it will automatically update on your Google site. So it's a really cool feature. Google Drive, and I'll take you to there in just a second, will allow you to create a document and some other things. It also shows you right here, you have your documents, you have your sheets, you have your slides, and you have more. You have an admin, which would allow you to, if you were a Google Apps for Education district and you had the domain, that allows you to get access to getting the account set up and changing passwords and so forth. Google Groups and Google Contacts. Now, Google Contacts, I set those up so that way I can share documents with my students very easily. You also have access to YouTube, and Vault would be a storage system that is going to keep track of your documents and so forth. There's even more from Google. You can search through right here. You have Google Chrome, which I always recommend using, especially when you're doing Google-based things. It's Google's web browser. Helpouts, they weren't as popular as thought. It was a way for people to get help if they're working on something with Google. You can go down to media. You can search for books. There's Picasa. There's Google Play, which is equivalent to the Play Store or App Store, I should say. You can also do your Google Maps. You have Google Earth. You have all of these great features down here. If you go down to Home and Office, this is where you would typically find the apps that are associated for your school. Google Cloud Print. Now, at my school, we have Google Chromebooks, which they're not directly set up to printing, so you have to actually set it up through the Cloud Print service. There's your Google Store if you want to explore more apps. There's social. You can do Blogger. You can create your own blog. Hangouts, which are fabulous, which are part of also Google Plus. And there's Code. Coding, Google created a spot to code, and coding is a wonderful tool for students to use. So I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to take you through what the drive looks like. And again, this is just a real quick overview. You can definitely spend some more time on YouTube watching more videos and how-tos. And you can also just play around. It's the best way to learn. Right now I'm on My Drive. It says My Drive here. This is where I can click on New if I want to create a folder to keep all my documents organized. I can file upload. If I created something in Microsoft Word or a PowerPoint or Excel, I can do a real quick upload. Because remember, Google is a cloud storage, so it replaces your flash drive. Folder upload. If I have a bunch of documents in a folder, I can do a real quick folder upload to get that whole folder up. So when you start to think about using Google, you don't have to get rid of Microsoft Word in the beginning. You can upload and you can start to convert and change things. I will give you one recommendation. When you do start to upload, I would come over to your settings, and then I would go to settings again, and I would make sure this box here is checked. The reason you check that box is because when you upload a Microsoft Word document, it stays in its natural format of Word, and you're able to only view the document. When you put a check mark here, it will allow you to act like it's a Google document in which you can type. Now, one caveat with this is if you have something that has a lot of tables in Microsoft Word, it doesn't exactly convert over to Google Documents. Now, Google has done a great job of fixing their tables and making the cells able to merge and so forth, but just be careful in the beginning. If you have a lot of tables, it might look a little bit different when you get it into that Google format. So back to the new, I can do a Google document. It's very similar to Word. It doesn't have as many features as Microsoft Word has, but typically the average person that's going to type a document is only going to use a small part of it. They're going to type, they may change the font, the text color, a little bit of formatting, throw some images in, and that's about it. Google Sheets, kind of similar to Excel. Once again, Excel has a lot more power to it. It has a lot more features that are able to work with it. However, Google Sheets does have a good spot for you to collect data, to store data, and so forth. Google Slides would be its equivalent to Microsoft PowerPoint. Now again, Microsoft PowerPoint has a lot more of the bells and the whistles. Google Slides, however, just like Google Sheets, just like Google Docs, you're able to share with others. So you can work on it together. Now typically what happens with Microsoft Office products that aren't 365 or in the cloud, you work on it on your computer, you save it, maybe save it to a flash drive, give that flash drive to your colleague, they open it up, they make changes, they go back and forth. Or you email it. Now when you're emailing back and forth, sometimes it gets mixed up in which version of the product you have and so forth. So this is a good option for you if you're in the cloud. You can also do more. Now some of these I've added, so the most common ones are Google Forms and Google Drawings. Google Drawings, very fun way for students to be able to be creative while they're collaborating with their peers. Google Forms, that's how you can make a test, a quiz, a survey, exit ticket, CFA, lots of great ways to gather information. There's an add-on called Flubaroo that will help you grade the forms, saves you so much time. So that's what Google Forms is. I'm just going to show you real quickly what the docs look like. Now when you open it up, the ribbon across the top looks different than Microsoft Word. You won't be able to find everything in the exact same spot, but realize that this saves after every time I start to type. So this is in, if you look right up here, it's saving. There's actually not a file save button. So if my computer were to crash right now, for some reason, I have it saved to that point. It's a really great thing that happens with anything that you do with Google. You can go up, you can change the document, name, practice, or whatever you want to call it. You can share. So if I click on the share button, I can type in a colleague's email address. Then I can give that colleague editing privileges, I can give that comment privileges, or I can give them just view privileges. So you're able to change that. I can also change it after I make the mistake. So if I share it with my colleague as can comment, but then I realize he's supposed to be able to edit, I can go back and I can change that at a later time. Something else that is a really neat thing with these is if you go to File, see Revision History, now you have to just imagine with me that you've done a lot of work on a specific document. It has a bunch of things filled out over here. I can go back and find out at what moment did a person type something, what moment did a person delete something, and it also will show me the collaborators. So if I have my colleague on here, it'll show his or her name in a different color. Another great feature with this is if somebody makes a mistake and they accidentally delete the whole project and then the computer crashes or whatever, I can come back to revision history and I can restore this draft to an earlier version of that document. I can show more detailed revisions if I have a lot of revisions to show. Add-ons. Add-ons are a way for you to customize your document to make the document work best for you. There's a bunch of add-ons on here. Now a lot of them are free, but there might be a few that do cost money. So you just have to figure out what you want the document to do and go look to see if there's a way to make that happen. Now again, I can insert tables, I can do my tools, I can do formatting. I haven't in 3 years found anything that I can't do with the Google document. Now I'm not a big formatting person by any means, but I found what I can use in Google Documents to be very effective in sharing with my students, with my peers, with my college students as well. So I'm going to get back here to this. Now what will happen is I titled it Practice. It pops up in your drive right away. If somebody shares something with you, you click on Shared with Me. So I'm going to click on Shared with Me. Now this has been shared with me from another teacher at my building. So if I open it up, then we can start to collaborate as long as that person gave me editing privileges or can comment privileges. All right, that's the basics of Google Drive with the apps. The main thing I'd like you to do is just experiment, try it out. Open up a document, type something up, see how you could use it with your students. Thank you very much.